I'm Rick from RevenueCat, and I want to start by giving a huge thanks to AB180, Roy, and the entire crew there for putting this event together. This is my first time at MGS, and it's been a very, very, very impressive production. The hospitality has been unreal. Everybody's been so kind, so thank you very much. Then, a quick note on the title. It's not actually live. I ran this live on stage in Tokyo last week, but for this size audience and with the time we actually have, doing a live demo felt a little risky. So we're going to run through the results from last week, but all of this was generated live then. Then, this is me. I run marketing, sales, and success at RevenueCat. Before that, I was at Bitrise, it's a mobile DevOps company. And before that, I spent a decade in gaming. I went from web to social to mobile games, always running growth. And I've got 5 kids, which people always find a lot. I brought all of them here, and my wife and my 2 oldest daughters have discovered a shop called Olive Green, and they basically don't want to leave. Then really quickly about RevenueCat. RevenueCat is the in-app monetization platform used by over 50,000 apps worldwide. We are what powers ChatGPT, Visco, FC Barcelona. We handle over $8 billion in transactions each year. And we're now in close to half of newly shipped subscription apps worldwide. What's more important for the audience today is that as a business, we are relentlessly focused on helping make you more money. And that's actually it. I promise I'm not going to talk about RevenueCat anymore for the rest of this talk, because actually the talk is about stealing your rival's homework by listening to their users. And that'll make sense shortly. User reviews are public, free, and very, very honest. They tell you what people hate and what people want. And if you work on mobile, you'll be familiar with this screen, right? App Store reviews, everybody's asking for them. Sometimes you get them unprompted. And you can see here, I pulled this, again, last week from Duolingo's App Store reviews. This is actually a review that's relatively positive, right? Somebody's giving Duolingo 4 stars. But what they mention here is that even though they like Duolingo, they're missing some features, and they literally list out the features. They're asking for homophones. And homophones are words that sound the same, but are written differently. And apparently Duolingo doesn't handle those well, and users are asking for those, right? So if I'm a Duolingo competitor, I can find these type of insights in Duolingo's App Store reviews. So you want to listen to your competitors' users, because whatever pain those users are experiencing is actually your opportunity. You can spot weaknesses, you can find market gaps, things that competitors are not doing or not yet doing or not doing well, and you can avoid their mistakes as pointed out by their users. You're going to gain a ton of strategic insight at actually very, very low cost. And that sounds really easy and attractive because I just did it with Duolingo. But there is a ton of data out there. So we actually bring in the machines. Popular apps, this is actually X. Popular apps bring in hundreds of thousands or millions of reviews. A lot of these apps actually get 10,000 plus reviews per week. So it becomes actually very, very difficult for you to manually read them or even to scrape them and then analyze them. But there are LLMs now. And LLMs like ChatGPT or Perplexity, they don't sleep, they don't complain, they don't need vacations. You can keep them running 24/7 and automate competitor analysis with very little coding. So these are some of the tools that you could use to do the type of research that I'm going to show you in a little bit. Right? Everybody's familiar with ChatGPT. It's like the OG, very good at connecting the dots, right? Seeing complaints or questions and then figuring out what you can build or do to benefit. There's Perplexity. Perplexity is amazing at search, provides a lot of references so you can actually check if what it found actually exists. And then there's Manus. Manus is agentic by default, so it spins up a lot of other AIs that serve specific tasks, and then it can produce a full set of docs. What we're going to use, or what I used for this exercise, was Manus, mostly because it can spit out like a markdown file, CSVs, screenshots, all of it in a single run, in a single prompt. But all three of these use RevenueCat. So whenever I pay to use any of these, a little bit of that money comes back to us. So we're good anyway. All right, then this is our game plan. We ask the AI to first find our biggest competitors. Then the AI goes and gathers as many reviews as it can find, specifically from app stores or forums, think Reddit, Facebook. Then the AI analyzes all that feedback to find likes and dislikes that are a recurring theme across all of that feedback. And then it extracts insights from all that feedback. And then it's actually on us or on your teams to take action on those insights and then beat your competition in product and marketing. So now the magic prompt. And this is not actually a magic prompt. It is simply what I used last week in Tokyo. There might be a better one out there. I haven't optimized it. It worked for me, and you're going to see actually what it produced. I'll give you a minute. So what we're doing in this giant prompt is we're first giving the AI context, right? We're giving it the information it needs before it starts the task. Then we give it an objective. We tell the AI what we want the AI to achieve. Then the tasks, we tell the AI what it should do. That's optional. In this case, we tell it what to do because we know exactly how it should complete the task, right? We know that we want it to identify apps. Then we know that we want it to scrape recent reviews. And we give it a number because we don't want this prompt to run for like a week. Then we know that it needs to cluster likes and dislikes. Then it captures messaging, and then it creates and scores opportunities. Then we give the AI a format to return its answers in. We want a markdown doc. We want a snapshot table. In this case, we actually had it build a little dashboard that Manus actually deploys for us and gives us insights into our competitors. It creates a full opportunity backlog. It gives us copy for our ads, and it then gives us a CSV with all the reviews it used, right? So, because one of the dangers of AI is that sometimes it just makes stuff up. But the CSV is how you check, right? You can literally just check where it pulled the reviews. And then, in this case, we put in place some guardrails where we tell it, verify things. If you don't know a thing, tell me that you don't know a thing. Because it's very, very tempting for an AI, when it doesn't know a thing, to just make something up. But no, just tell us that you don't know. So we put in place the guardrails. And then some results came up. And we ran this prompt for, you might have seen it in the prompt itself. We ran it for Kelsey. Kelsey is Japanese Cal AI. I don't know if Cal AI is a thing here. MyFitnessPal, right? But AI powered. It's a brand new app. It's been around for a couple of months. It's a photo-based calorie counter, right? You snap a photo of your food, it counts the calories, and what they wanted to know is, how do we beat the competition? So first it found competitors, right? We told it to find 5, but for the aesthetics of the slide, I just showed 3. Oh, one back. So it found Askin, which is big Japanese calorie tracking app, over 11 million users. It found Calomil, 1 million plus users, and it found that MyFitnessPal actually in Japan has over 1 million users. Right? It's a big international app, but has a sizable user base in Japan. Note that I did not know this, right? I did not tell the AI this. The Kelsey team didn't tell me this. The only information that went into the AI was the prompt we saw a couple of slides back. So it found our competitors, and then it found reviews, and it analyzed them. So for Askin, it found that it has a huge food database, lots of new products being added continuously, and it specifically pointed out that in user reviews, the proven weight loss was a recurring theme, right? So Askin in its marketing and its App Store pages talks about the fact that people actually lost weight, and apparently that resonates. But it also found that it has a very poor exercise integration. What that means is that if I tell the app that I want to consume 2,000 calories a day, but then I run a marathon, I want the app to give me some bonus calories, right? And Askin doesn't do that. People also complained about an overly complex interface that becomes annoying, and mentioned the fact that it lacks flexibility when you're planning a meal. For Calomil, it mentioned that actually it does adjust calories based on your exercise. It called out the fact that there are very good free features, right? So people don't immediately run into a hard paywall. But in the weaknesses, this was an interesting one. If you dig into the documentation that Manus produced, you can actually see the customer messages. And there's a common theme of people mentioning that it misses food by 233 calories. That's a lot of calories, right? That's like, even for somebody my size, that's 10% of your daily calories. So a lot of accuracy issues. It mentioned that there's a limited food database, and it mentioned that there's an unreliable photo recognition that only works well for rice, which is, people eat a lot of rice in Japan, but it's not the only thing they eat. And then lastly, MyFitnessPal, people are familiar, largest global food database, strong social features that people called out, and good fitness device integration. So not only do you tell MyFitnessPal, hey, I did a workout, but it's going to be able to see because you wore the watch or you used a treadmill. But some weaknesses, intrusive advertising that disrupts core functionality, poor Japanese food database coverage, which is a big issue in Japan, and confusing premium pricing with core features actually locked behind the paywall, right? So people were forced to pay for even the most basic things. So that's a snapshot of what the AI found. But then what opportunities did it distill from those findings? We need to emphasize calorie accuracy, right? Because other apps are making mistakes. We can position as the most accurate one. We need to add exercise diet balance. Specifically, Askin lacks calorie adjustment for workouts. They have 1 million users. We could use some of those 1 million users, right? Users want dynamic targets based on their activity. We need to address Japanese food recognition. MyFitnessPal doesn't do Japanese food well. Calomil is a little unreliable. We can excel if we train our AI well. need to maintain a comprehensive Japanese database. CaloMail doesn't have enough items. It's missing convenience store products, right? If you've been to Japan, convenience store products, like a lot of people eat those, missing them, that's a big deal. And users just frequently can't find food. And we want to emphasize the simple photo-first UX, because Asken is actually too complex. CaloMail has poor UI. We can provide adaptive simplicity, right? So we start easy, and then more advanced users can graduate. So we actually asked the AI to split that up and tell us exactly what to do with product, exactly what to do with marketing, and exactly what to do with our App Store pages. Told us to build an accuracy validation system. Told us to add exercise calorie integration. We really need to expand our Japanese food database, improve photo recognition for Japanese food, and we need to create that adaptive UX complexity. So people start easy, and then they graduate to a more advanced experience. Then on the marketing side, again, like it produced so many documents, but it created an entire campaign from scratch where it's tired of wrong calorie counts, get accuracy you can trust. Gives us great counter positioning against those other apps that actually struggle with accuracy. We can actually target CaloMail churners or CaloMail active users with that 233 calorie error messaging. We can highlight no exercise punishment versus Asken, right? As soon as we have the exercise implemented correctly. Whenever we're targeting MyFitnessPal, position ourselves as a Japanese food specialist, right? Because we know that MyFitnessPal struggles. And then emphasize that photo-first simplicity whenever we're targeting busy professionals. On ASO, it tells us, include accurate calorie calculation, include one photo, show screenshots of our AI recognition, and then maybe even literally show it against like a mocked up competitor app that's not doing so well in the recognition area. We can include ask an alternative in our keyword strategy because we have a good case against Asken, and it has a huge user base. Feature that Japanese cuisine specialist in our marketing, right, in our messaging, and then as soon as we have that exercise integration, highlight that as a key differentiator. So the key takeaways of all of that is that you want to listen to all the voices out there, right? Competitor user feedback is free research and development, and all of us are in a very enviable position where all that feedback for mobile is public, right? And you probably already went to a competitor App Store page to look through App Store reviews at one point or another. And then imagine that you have this prompt running once a week, once a month, and it just dumps a complete analysis. You want to leverage AI for speed, so don't waste days or weeks on manual research. Act on insights, right? So let all those pain points and that information guide you when you're putting together your roadmap for product or when you're putting together your marketing efforts. And I think one of the most important things I'd like you to take away is that you can do this yourself today, right? You don't need an engineer. You don't need a data team. It literally doesn't matter what you do inside the company. You can pull up one of these tools, copy in a prompt, and have it produce insights. And then don't show anybody in the company this talk. Don't tell anybody that I showed you how to do this. Just pretend it took you a month, right? And people will believe you. So quick recap of the workflow. You pick a tool. Again, we use Manus. I think it's pretty good. Use Perplexity, use ChatGPT. Use one of those three, because if you use one of those three, you're secretly paying us a little bit. tweak that prompt I showed you, or put your own prompt together just based on the structure with your own app and your context. Hit enter, get results, get to work. That's it.